This is the Art Beauty Podcast special summer series in partnership with New Beauty Magazine. Every week during the month of July and August, we've been bringing you fabulous guests straight from the pages of New Beauty Magazine. I'm Amber, and today my fabulous and gorgeous co-host is Dr. Kathleen Behr. She's a board-certified dermatologic surgeon operating out of Fresno, California. Her place is called Behr Laser and Skin Center. And welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
So how are things in sunny California right now? What's going on? What's the weather there? Because in New York right now, it is like so incredibly hot.
It's hot here also. So yeah, it's going to be 108 this weekend. So like I said, I'll head up to the lake house where it will be about 88 maybe. But it's down at night. So luckily that's only 45 minutes away, but it is crazy hot here also.
That's so nice that you have a place to get away to. I'm actually going to go to Hershey Park this weekend. We'll see. I'm not a big ride person, but you have a couple of amusement parks there in California, don't you?
Yeah, we have Magic Mountain, which is a really big one down in Visalia. And my son just went there a little while ago. I think it was hot too, but they also have a water park. A lot of them have it attached to them to help.
I'm so not like a roller coaster person, but I heard that Hershey Park has one of those lazy rivers. So I will probably slap on a ton of sunscreen, put on my hat, and, kind of relax all day while my husband goes and does the crazy rides. So, speaking of being in bathing suits, and our summer bodies, I think there's been so much attention on and buzz about these non-invasive body contouring procedures. And I know that you have the EMSCULPT NEO in your office. Can you tell us a little bit about what the EMSCULPT is?
So, body contouring is just like booming. And, we've been locked down for the last year. Gyms have been closed. So there's been a lot of home gyms, but we also can need a little help otherwise. And the nice thing about NEO is you're in an office by yourself getting treated, and it combines two great technologies. So it's radio frequency to melt fat and to tighten the skin, and HIFEM, so high intense muscle contractions beyond what you can do yourself. So it actually burns fat and helps build the muscle. And I'm seeing it also tighten the skin, which is amazing.
Are you now, okay, when you talk about tightening the skin, because I know now in my 40s, one of the things that you start to realize a little bit more is that the skin laxity really starts to set in. So even if you are, working out in the gym and losing the weight, you can't really do much about the skin. When you mentioned skin tightening with the EMSCULPT NEO, what can we really expect from that?
Well, that's not the main focus of the machine,
okay.
But it's added benefit. You're 40, wait till you turn about 60. Okay, sweetheart. Because that's where I am. So, but it does.
Get out. You are not. Are you really?
9. So anyway,
you look phenomenal. Wow.
I have a lot of machines here, and Behr body, we do a lot, and we're expanding like Behr body, and EMSCULPT NEO is a key part of that, because we also do some other technologies to melt, to freeze the fat, and those are for specific areas. But this is one that combines building the muscle and killing the fat, which is really important because as we age, our muscle gets less and less. And then we have a harder time burning those calories that we eat every day, and we have to eat less. So this is a way to help. It also helps me in another way, because often when I'm standing, because I'm very active. I do hiking, I do wakeboarding, I do
typical California gal, right?
I had sunscreen, but I don't do sit-ups. But so sometimes I get a little backache or my hip hurts. And I find when I do the EMSCULPT NEO and it strengthens my core, it's really important to help lessen. I don't have any problems with my hip or my back pain anymore. And so I think it's really important for those people who have back pain that can't do core work, and then their back pain gets worse. And then, so that's like a vicious cycle. So the EMSCULPT Neo is great for that, and in the benefit of, taking away the fat.
Oh, what was that giant? That was, I just heard a ding. That was the ding of what?
Yes. That was a ding of an email. I'll put that down on silent. Sorry about that.
I thought maybe that was like a, yes, you are correct in saying this. I did read a scary fact that basically from the time we turn 30, we lose 3 to 5% of our muscle mass a year, or rather a decade, not a year. That would be terrifying. So, is that something that we could build up using weights theoretically?
It is, weights, but it's a lot of weight. I think, it would be a lot of weight to build up. So, and like I said, a lot of people don't mind doing weights, for their arms and their legs. But I think as we get older, it's harder on our neck and our back to keep our core strong. Although now with the EMSCULPT Neo, we can use it on our biceps, our triceps, our outer thighs, the front of our legs, and the back of our legs.
You bring up such a good point. So I consider myself a very active person. And earlier this summer, I got excited to go outside and run again. And I pulled my hamstring, and it took me like a good 2.5 months to really rehab that. I'm a terrible patient. So of course, after like 2 weeks, I was out running again and then was right back in physical therapy. So there is that when you do get older, as we start to get older, it's not as easy to do some of these workouts. And, you mentioned the ab work, and I have done the EMSCULPT Neo, and I will tell you, and I keep it real here. No, I didn't walk away with a 6-pack, but that's because my diet wasn't on point. But man, I would go to my gym classes and I was stronger. I knew instantly, like your stomach, it really does build that muscle.
It really builds that muscle. So it builds that muscle for us. My 19-year-old son who's doing it does get more and more of the 6-pack to define that. So
lucky guy. Yes.
That's the great thing about the Neo is you can use it on so many different body types on a higher BMI than you can use it on some of the other machines. So, but it's going to do a different thing for each person, but that's okay. So as long as I let them know ahead of time, hey, you're in great shape, it can still make you stronger, or, hey, it's going to make everybody stronger. This is what it's going to do, but this is, in advance what it's going to do for you. It's going to melt some fat. It's going to define your muscles, but it's definitely going to make everybody stronger.
So let's talk a little bit about what is the protocol for a series of EMSCULPT sessions.
Well, that's a great thing also, is it's like 4 sessions. It's 4 sessions once a week. And then we have people that want to come in and use it once a month. They do a different area. There's so many people that like, okay, I've done my abdomen. Now I'm going to do my biceps and triceps. And we like to do those muscle groups together because they kind of balance each other out. And now we use it on the outer thighs, the inner thighs to melt fat in those areas. And we can use it on the front and the back of the thighs to, increase the strength of the quads and the hamstrings. So there's just and it's just continuing to expand. So that's the great thing about it. So it's going to be, we actually have a membership. So, people can join the membership and come in and use it, because it's like a gym, but then you're in your own.
Tell me more about this membership. Like how, and I know that you're in California, prices across the country are different, but what is that? How do you price it? What does it entail?
Have different what we build different memberships, kind of like a gym for what people want to do. So if they want to come in and do a certain muscle building, then they can come in, and often then they find that it works so efficiently in one area, they're going to add a second area. So then when they're here, they say, hey, I've just done my abdomen, can I do my butt?
Because right, I know the butt was like so popular.
So popular, and the injection with the fat is really a little bit more taboo now because you can get serious side effects from it. So we're building it with your natural muscle, and then we're also doing fillers, and we're combining so many treatments together. So that's why we actually have a separate area of like bare body, because that's the next focus of the future.
What do you mean a separate area of bare body?
We have just so many different machines now to help. Okay. With fat and tone, and we just bought a new different laser to tighten the skin underneath the skin. So there's just, that is like taking off.
Well, you know what? I feel like it's not that we have become lazier. I really don't believe that it is. I think that we are all just looking for, I want to say that quick fix, but for solutions that don't entail us maybe going under the knife.
Well, that's the great thing. I mean, I've been in, since I've been practiced, almost 30 years. I mean, it started off with just, a neurotoxin that was out at that time. And now, I mean, that's my job, is to educate each one of my patients or my friends, like, you can do this and you can do this, because they come into my office and they have no idea what's available. So really a big part of the physicians or the provider's job is just educating the patient on what's available to them, because there's so many things that we can do that are non-invasive to try to ward off surgery, which is what I'm trying to do. And we have to work with those patients, and diet and exercise is important. So that's not what the Neo is for, but it's a great adjunct, and just making you stronger than you can do. It does contract, supra maximal contractions that you can't even do on your own. It's just crazy. I mean, you've tried it. So we actually have people try to demo it when they're in here, because I think it's one of those things that until you feel exactly what it does, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Right. I mean, it's so true. And it's a very unique feeling. I remember the first time I had it on my stomach. I felt it all the way down, like, to your lady parts. You really do, because I guess it's getting all the way into like the pelvic floor almost, correct?
Yeah, definitely. And when I do my, when you do the stomach, I definitely felt my waist go in, and my, side. Your waist gets smaller, because it's not only contracting, right underneath, it's causing contractions of these other muscles around it. So it really is working in a nice area. I've even had to use the Neo in patients who've had other procedures that got irregularities, and the Neo has really helped smooth it out.
Like what?
Well, like Cool Sculpting, I mean, which is a great procedure, but if you don't do it right, you can get irregularities. So, then they come in and their abdomen's flatter, but they have a couple irregularities. And I've really had,
You mean like divots?
Yeah, just little pockets that are left, or little divots. So this has helped really smooth those out. I mean, it's amazing.
Do you feel like the Neo is sort of better at maybe providing a more even result than some of like the Cool Sculpting type devices?
I think you have to, that's the thing. You really have to go to somebody that evaluates it. So if you have a pocket in a certain area, like bra fat, or, on the back bra fat, Cool Sculpting is great for that, or flanks, or you have a pocket that you can, squeeze. But if you have, just a diffuse area of fat on the abdomen or some of these areas, yes, the Neo gives like a more even tone. So like I said, that's why it's so nice to be able to combine some of these procedures, and they each have their advantage, kind of like when I combine procedures for the face.
And you mentioned before that the interesting thing about Neo is that you can treat patients like up to a BMI, I think of what, 35?
Yes. Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about what, and also it's safe for all skin tones, correct?
All skin types. You can treat any time of year. It's not a laser. It's not going to cause any pigments. It's radio frequency that's heating the fat, and heating the skin surface, and then the muscle contraction that's giving you that extra strength. So you can treat any skin type. It's going to go to a certain depth. So, sometimes we combine it with other procedures, but it's nicer that you can use it on a higher BMIs.
Yeah. And now I want to talk to you, because I love the image behind you is really what I thought I would kind of walk out looking like. And again, just keeping it real here. And you mentioned talking about education to patients. What?
I bet you look like that.
No, I didn't, because I like cookies too much. You really do have to keep it done. But I will say this. I have friends, especially here in New York, who are in the fitness world, who are fitness trainers, and they do look like that. So I think that, one of the things I like to be honest, because I get a lot of questions about this. Oh, you did this. What did you think? I think this thing was incredible. Like you said, for strength training, I definitely noticed getting smaller. But I think that if you don't have a very low body fat percentage, you can't expect to walk away with a 6-pack or an 8-pack. Right. So what kind of results do you feel like people can expect? The average woman, let's say.
everybody's going to get a 25 to 30% increase in their muscle strength, and they're going to get a 20% decrease or so in 25% decrease in their fat. So it all depends what you start with.
Totally.
So,
And I'm just putting that out there because I want to keep it real with people, because I do think I think this is fabulous. And I think that a lot of the body contouring, they can get a great rap or they can get a bad rap, because I think people go in with unrealistic expectations.
Well, it is. And we try to post different things when we post, and somebody says, well, they don't, have that, or else you post somebody that's heavier. And really, we want to know that we can help each individual person, but then it's our job to explain to them that, if they're not already toned and a low body fat, this is not the result that they're going to have.
Also, I find that men really do really well on this. So my old podcast host, Ryan, he and I went and it was just the regular EMSCULPT when it first came out, and he did it on his backside, and the man has 0% body fat. So, and he did it on his stomach. So he had a ripped 6-pack, and his butt was like high and tight.
Oh yeah. So but could he tolerate the highest levels? Because sometimes men are a little bit of a wimp.
Nope. We went in together, we held hands, and we were like, put that up to 100. Not on the first one, but on the second one, we were like, because we wanted to get the most bang for our buck.
But it does a little getting used to, like you said. So when you first feel it, it's like, wow, this really is doing a lot for my muscles. So I'm telling people it's not, it's not just some fad that's going to go away. I mean, there's going to be more and more machines and more things coming out there, but they have, really have cornered the market right now. And they are
you're starting to see a lot of also like at home knockoffs of this. This is truly a medical device. You want to be
200,000 knockoff devices they're selling at home are from China for, a very low price. So, I mean, they're not, if it sounds too good to be true, usually it is.
It certainly is. And, I'm excited about this because when I first explored, and we did a podcast on this on the regular EMSCULPT many, many moons ago, they only had the applicators for the abs and the butt. Yes. So tell us now, like, what are some of the, you mentioned arms, legs, inner thighs, outer thighs. What else can we do?
Oh, I mean, so yeah, you can do the arms. There's an applicator for the biceps, the triceps, the abdomen, the buttocks, all around the thighs. So you can do the outer thighs, you can do the inner thighs, you can do the anterior thighs, the posterior thighs. Now, some of those areas you're melting more fat, and some of them you're building more muscle. And you can, even with the EMSCULPT Neo, turn off the Neo part just to get EMSCULPT, because like when you're doing the buttock,
you don't want to burn fat.
No, you want to build fat. So
question for you. How long have you had this device in your office?
Pretty much right when it came out. We had the, EMSCULPT first, and then we, switched over to the Neo. I had to talk to a few friends because, there's so much technology going out there, and it's definitely been a big bonus in my office. And I definitely believe in the technology.
So do you find that there are certain areas that you personally in your office are seeing more of a better result on?
Well, I think, the abdomen is where we started a lot on that, building the muscle. The buttocks, we see a great result, but, it's so hard for women to do the triceps and the arms that, it's so important with what we're wearing to have that built. So I think that is a huge thing that we can do with it. Build the muscle.
Showing that. Well, I don't know if women understand this. It's funny. I was telling a woman the other day, the tricep is the biggest group of muscles or the biggest muscle in your arm. And I think she was offended because I was like, no, not you. Like everybody, the tricep is just the biggest muscle in the arm. And it's one of the things that I find that we work out the least. And it is tough. So what are you seeing when you're putting that on? And like, what is the protocol the same for?
Yeah, it's 4 treatments a week apart. And then, sometimes, if somebody is a little higher BMI, or that. We do 8. So we are going higher on that. But you're seeing, not only that you're decreasing the fat, but you want that strength, not that you're going to be a bodybuilder, but just you have that tone. And again, a little better tone in your skin also. I mean, that's where I think the next technology is really working to help the tone, but this does help with the tone and the tone of the muscles and decreasing the pocket of the fat so you can see the muscles more.
Okay, so what are you personally doing? How often are you on this? Like, I'd be in there every day.
I wish, but I'm too busy. I mean, I'm too busy seeing patients. So like in my mind, every morning I go in, I'm going to get on the machine today. And then like last night, I didn't leave till 7:30 and I didn't get on the machine. So, and then in the summer, I don't want to come down from the lake. So in the fall, I'll start more regularly. I mean, but I have done the series of the abdomen and I need to finish the series on my arm. I hadn't done that. So, fall is an easier time for me. Summer, when I'm at work, I'm hammered. And because I'm on vacation, then I'm on vacation. So, but it is great and people use it, but sometimes you feel, like the shoemaker's son.
Right.
I mean, my nurses, but I have to get it on the schedule. Otherwise I just don't do it.
That totally makes sense. And again, we kind of were touching on this before, but you are seeing like, are people overall happy with the arm protocol? Are they happy with the thigh protocol? Are you seeing, what are the results?
No, they're definitely happy. I mean, like I said, there's really nothing else for the arms that you can do. I mean, I also we do, liposuction, Cool Sculpting, which are good, but this really is the only thing that's going to build the muscle and build the tone at the same time as helping with the fat. And on the stomach, I think it also can even go a little deeper because a lot of people, I can't even do liposuction to get a flat stomach because it's the curvature of their muscle. So this is going to help, flatten their muscle. If they have, a lot of women have a separation of the muscle, so a diastasis. Right. And this helps that. This helps make that smaller. So, I mean, it's amazing that can help flatten that. And we may even see, that it helps decrease some of the fat underneath the muscle in people that are really lean. So those are things that are ongoing studies to figure out how we can get to that. Because right now there's no way we can, too much get to that. But it's amazing how it can flatten the stomach by tightening the muscles, tightening the separation that women often have, the diastasis. And there's nothing else liposuction or Cool Sculpting that I can do to help that.
So for women, when you're talking about the diastasis, that's generally after pregnancy. How soon after pregnancy can somebody start this?
Well, I'd say if it was a vaginal delivery, I'd say, fairly soon, as soon as they feel up to it, probably even in a month. For a C-section, I would probably wait, because you have the incision, probably 3 months.
And I know we're talking about the body contouring here, but you also have that Emsella. So speaking of vaginal delivery and vaginal rejuvenation, that's the seat, correct?
Oh yeah. And the seat right here, and it is amazing. So it's not only, and it came out for urinary incontinence, but it's so much more for that than that, because I tell everybody, it's not going to help cure everybody's incontinence, but it's going to strengthen everybody's pelvic floor. And I am passionate about that. I do that. Increases blood flow, increases stimulation, increases, sex drive. We often combine it with an internal procedure and an external procedure. And that's why sometimes men want to do it, because it increases their blood flow and sensitivity.
Again, also, my friend Ryan, I don't think he'll care that I'm saying this, but it was good. He did it too. Let's just say, I'm going to leave it at that. Yes. Popular for the men as well.
I mean, you sit on the chair for a half an hour and, it's just strengthening that core, doing so many Kegels that I was never really good at doing anyway. So
can I ask, what does that feel like?
You can feel your whole pelvic area contract. I mean, it's just strengthening those whole pelvic muscles down in there in the pelvic floor, which is important for us to keep strong. And a lot of people that will help their urinary incontinence or stop their urinary incontinence, but I can't promise everybody. And that's how I always like to do everything in my practice, under promise. But, I know that it's going to strengthen their pelvic floor. Whether it's going to completely eliminate their urinary incontinence, I don't know, but it will strengthen their pelvic floor, increase increased blood flow, increased moisture, and increased sensitivity. And I know that.
Which is wonderful. And I love that we're talking about sex drive, again, especially as we're getting older, it's something to remember that we have all of these wonderful tools at our disposal. If people are interested in doing this, well, actually, before I let you go, can you give us like price ranges for this? Because I bet people are wondering how ballpark ranges.
Yes, yes. So, the Emsella often we combine with the internal treatments. So we usually do 6 treatments, 2 a week with that. And we have, it's about 2,400.
Okay.
The EMSCULPT NEO.
For the session, for the whole series?
Whole series. And then we usually give a free maintenance for a year. So once a month they can come in and do a maintenance with it, because I find that that's really important. And then for the Neo, it's 3,200, but often we'll combine it with other things or have other specials on it for the series of 4. But
amazing. And I just want to say, like, I also have a very interesting factor that physically inactive people end up spending $1,500 more on general health care than active people. So when you kind of start to think about those numbers,
yes,
and think about how many people have a gym membership or a Peloton sitting in their basement that they're not using. This is something that is going to guarantee results.
It is. And I mean, we realize, I think that's what the pandemic has realized. I mean, we only have, one life to live and one body, and we really need to take care of that. And so we need to do all we can to keep our health. And by keeping our core strength, it's going to help our back, help our posture, by building our muscles, it's going to keep, our weight off, which is going to be good for, not only our emotions, but also to prevent diabetes and all the other diseases that we don't want to have. And we don't really want to have those because, they're even higher risk factors when we have something like COVID come along.
Now, you mentioned that you have a lot of things in the Behr body, and, it took me a minute because I was thinking BARE. I haven't had enough coffee today, not BEHR, Behr body, which I love that. It's so great. Cellulite right now is such a big hot topic too. What are you seeing in terms of like the cellulite market there, which has been, I know, so tough to treat?
Cellulite is so it causes many things. So it's easier to treat in a 20-year-old where it's just cellulite in a dimple. And
Right.
We have Quo right now that you inject, and it lyses that band to help out. We can also do that in other people, but then you have the fact of losing the muscle and getting the skin laxity. So, often then we're on the buttocks, we're going to combine the EMSCULPT to build the muscle with the Quo, plus with dilute fillers like Sculptra and Radius to also build the dermis and the thickness of the skin. And then, we just got a plasma laser to help thicken and tighten the skin also. So like I said, some things, especially like cellulite, it depends on your age. If you're 20, it probably is just that dimple that we can pop out, and there's
Right.
things coming out. And the M-tone also helps, that has, 3 different factors to help cellulite, but that is the market that I'd say is evolving the fastest. And I'd say we're getting there, but we're not quite 100% there. But to get there, most of the time, you're going to have to combine multiple treatments.
Which is great. And so it's really nice to come to a place like the Behr Laser and Skin Center where you can actually have access to more than one device. If people are considering doing all of this, if they're thinking about these non-invasive body contour, who would you say are the best candidates for something like the EMSCULPT NEO?
Well, like I said, though, I think there's such a wide variety, but, I have elderly people that have back pain that don't care about their abs, but their back pain's killing them. They're a great candidate. I have, 19-year-olds that are in great shape that want that extra oomph. And then there's everybody in between. So that's the great thing about this machine is it's for all different types. And I just have to explain to the 80-year-old, your back pain's probably going to get better. Your core is going to get stronger. But you may not have, you don't have, you have that extra layer of fat. You're not going to get that, those abs, but those abs are going to be there under that fat. And that fat is going to be smaller because it's going to help kill that fat. But I think it's for everybody. That's the great.
And just my last thing that I want to go on is, having done this, I will say, if you are looking, because I know we're all going to do this right after the summer, or especially around the new year, we're all looking for ways to jumpstart that fitness program. I can swear up, down, left, and right that this is such a wonderful way to do that, because no matter what, one, you're investing that time in yourself, you're investing money in yourself. So it's going to make you want to eat healthier. It's going to make you want to stop drinking so much if that's what you do, and maybe not have that extra cookie, because you know that your diet is going to affect this. But boy, when I went back to the gym after having done the EMSCULPT, all of those sit-ups that I used to hate doing, I could finally do. And I finally felt stronger. And then that made me want to work out harder. So it was kind of this wonderful cascading effect of getting stronger and feeling better.
Yeah, and that's great. And even just recently, I was listening to some presentations from ASLAMS, the laser meeting, and they had done studies that even that strength is going to last up to 6 months. I mean, it's not something do 4 treatments and then it's gone. I mean, it lasts a little longer, but some people want more. So like I said, I have people coming in quarterly, I have people coming in once a month, and we tailor it because each person is different, and that's what's really nice. So, but it definitely makes you stronger and makes those workouts easier.
Wonderful. Is there anything else new that you're hearing coming down the pipeline in terms of body contouring that you're really excited about?
Well, I am. So I think, there is a new technology, a vibration technology to help break up the cellulite that I saw at the ASLAM. So we'll see what that pans out, and some other technology. I think skin tightening is still where we're working on. So like I said, I just got a new machine that I'm excited to try. But I think that's where we're really evolving, because now we can melt fat, we can strengthen muscle, we can improve skin tightness, but we still need to improve that a little bit more. And we have a few devices for cellulite, which we had nothing before. I mean, I started with the cellulase, which was a laser like the Smart Lipo, and then we went to the Selfina, and now we're at the Quo and the M-Tone. And so then I think it's going to keep getting better, because 90% of women have it and nobody wants it, so that's, something that we can all hope.
Yes. Thank you. Come on, everybody out there, all you laser fabulous companies, build something better for us. We want it now, faster, better, stronger. Dr. Behr, thank you so much for spending time with us today. If people want to know more about your practice, or more about the EMSCULPT NEO or the EMSCELA, or any of the other body procedures that you do, where can they go?
At 435skin.com, and that's our website. We have a great new website, and we have a lot of information, and we do a lot on Instagram and Facebook. So that is just fantastic.
Wonderful. And if you're listening, that's actually the numerical 435.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And of course, if you have questions that you want me to pass on to Dr. Behr, I'm always happy to do so. You can write us at hello@ArtBeautyPodcast. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and here on YouTube at Art Beauty Podcast. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday.
Have a good weekend. Thank you.